This week's episode of the Curious Podcats is brought to you by you, our valued listeners. If there are any topics you would like to hear us talk about, you can submit your suggestions at curious.podcasts@gmail.com. Also, if you want to show us some love and support, why not pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Curious Podcats. Hello everyone and welcome to...
No, I said...
okay, hang on a second, we've just got to wait for him to finish this.
No, I said Tom Cruise's. No, I didn't, I mean Tom Cruise. Yeah, well, he was called Tom's Cruises.
It seems like we're having a bit of an issue with the guest.
Why would I want a crew... No, what do you mean? Don't blame Drew.
Yeah, Cindy, we don't talk, so don't blame me.
Right. So I'm going to travel all the way down here to get on a boat and do the podcast. I mean, come on, Cindy, come on. Right. We'll have to try again next week. Right. Alright, bye.
Hello everyone and welcome to another week of the Curious Podcats with me, Dr. Drewcifer, and the very infuriated Richy Lawless.
I suppose.
So it seems like we're having a bit of yet another issue with regards to the guest being booked by Cindy. Mm. Do you want to tell us what's happened there?
Well, I asked for Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, okay.
She was like, right, no problem. Then I get a phone call this morning from Tom's Cruises down south.
I was going to say, isn't that in Wales?
Somewhere like that. It's definitely not here. I think she might need a hearing aid.
Or a replacement battery in the one she's already got, who knows.
So yeah, welcome to the most amateur podcast on the internet. And if you know one that's more amateur, please let us know so we can make fun of them instead.
In the meantime, we'll just be making fun of ourselves. Okay then. Well, now that we know that yet again there is no guest, let's crack on with the show.
But there is one that's booked for not next week or the week after. I can't say who it is, but let's just say
they will definitely be appearing on the show.
The interview will be fire, and that's all I'm going to say.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. Oh, this week I have got
herpes.
Oh no, I got that years ago. So the topic I'm going to be talking about is that the Dark Ages supposedly were a lie.
Yeah, I've heard this one before.
Yeah, it's one called the Phantom Time Hypothesis. You heard of that?
Yeah.
We've got some fan mail, as usual. We've got some emails for Richie's Corner. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, all to come.
All to come. But let's crack on with the main topic of the day. Before I do that, have you got a Mandela effect for us this week?
Talk about putting us on the spot. No.
I think we've abandoned the Mandela effects at this point, haven't we?
It's not that... Well, there's loads of them, but a lot of them are crap.
And they're too easy to debunk.
It's like, ooh, this colour wasn't in the alphabet. That doesn't even make sense.
Well, there is a thing about... and this isn't a Mandela effect, would you just saying there that colour wasn't in the alphabet. There is actually the topic that might be worth touching on it later on down the line, is that originally the colour blue didn't exist.
Oh, I've heard stuff like
that. We didn't actually see the colour blue. It was just variations of green. So it might be worth touching on that at some point. But let's crack on with the Phantom Time Hypothesis.
Because you wrote down enough notes to
publish a novel. So the Phantom Time Hypothesis is a theory that's been put forward by a German historian called Herbert Illig and several of his colleagues. Now, they're proposing that we don't live in the 21st century, that we in fact live in the 18th century, more specifically, the year is 1726, not 2023. And he's explained it by saying like a big chunk of the Middle Ages never happened. Specifically, the years 1614 AD to 911 AD. And how this comes about is that you see is in the year 1000 AD, not BC, there was a conspiracy between the Church and the Holy Roman Emperor to change the calendar. He goes on to say that several historical stories, mainly things dealing with the Roman Emperor Charlemagne, never happened. They were all fictitious. And Charlemagne was designed as propaganda to support the change in the calendar. That was supposed to have happened. And the idea is that the change would have given the Emperor and the Pope more power. Now, to backtrack, to get up to this point, throughout history there's different cultures have each had their own like different versions of a calendar, like some based on seasons, others on the sun, others on the moon, and so on. But as the Roman Empire expanded, all these different types of calendars were making things like commerce complicated. So in 45 BC, Julius Caesar proposed a standard calendar to be used by everyone throughout the empire. And that is where we get the Julian calendar from. Now, the Julian calendar worked on a tropical year or solar year, where the year was 365 days and 6 hours, rather than 365 days for 3 years and then no.
Yeah. So then you got a leap year, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's 366 in a leap year. Sometimes I get confused over that and I don't know why.
I think it's stupid.
So originally a year was 365 and a quarter days. And what happened is that they discovered that the 365 and a quarter days wasn't as accurate as they thought it was. That the year was about 11 to 12 minutes shorter than what they thought. So it was only 365 days, 5 hours and 48 minutes. So how was this addressed? How was this fixed? Well, that's where the Gregorian calendar comes in,
right.
which is named after Pope Gregory XIII, who was the guy who made it.
Right.
Now, by the time he had made it, it had been estimated that because of this discrepancy of 11 to 12 minutes, the Julian calendar was resulting in a loss of a full day every 128 years. So by the time the Gregorian calendar came out, 10 full days had been lost.
Doesn't sound a lot, but it would make a difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as time goes on, yeah, it'll make a difference. Now, this was, I think it was 1548, I think it was, when the Gregorian calendar was 1582. Where am I getting 48 from? That might appear somewhere later down the line. I might be getting numbers mixed up. Oh, there we go. I've actually already found it 48. Looking further down the notes. Okay. So 1582 saw the introduction of the Gregorian calendar, which was designed to bring Easter back into synchronization with the equinox. Because what happened, I think, the church like for Easter to be around March 21st.
Yeah.
But by the time it came to Paul Gregory working out the math, Easter was landing on March 11th.
Is this why Easter's always different each year? Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's ironic looking at it because right now it is April 6th and Easter's this weekend.
It's weird that it's on a March, though, isn't it? I remember, the last one I remember on a March was 08, which was that a leap year?
08 would be a leap year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, so that might be something that's worth looking into a bit more as maybe like, I don't know, maybe like a bonus episode after this or something.
Yeah.
It is to find out why is it that we're now getting Easter on 6, 7, 8, why it's going to be on the 9th of April instead of the 11th of March. That's a full month.
Yeah, so over time, them days of mounting up to
the amount of time that's gone by since 1582 to now would definitely not account for that.
Right.
Because if anything, if there was a discrepancy, Easter would be falling back again.
Right.
But now Easter's ahead by a month. So that's actually, that's something I didn't pick up on when I was doing my research. But yeah, so Pope Gregory, so the Gregorian calendar to bring Easter back into sync with the equinox.
It's just kind of what we were talking about the other day with what was it? What were we on about again? About how there should have been 13 months and stuff and 28 days in a month.
It's linked, but the thing about the 13 months, I think that would have been like the really old system before the Julian calendar came in.
Because the moon cycles 28 days and...
Yeah, the lunar cycles, a lunar month is 28 days.
Yeah.
So that would have been the type of calendars that happened before Julius Caesar brought in his calendar in 45 BC. So what we were talking about is before 45 BC.
Right.
This is all stuff that's happened this side of it. Let's track here. Yeah, so Pope Gregory's trying to get Easter back to being at March 11th instead of March 21st. Back to March 21st instead of being at March 11th. Yeah, so it's falling about you. I'm getting myself all mixed up, yeah. Okay, so what happened in 1582? People went to bed on October 4th. And when they woke up the next day...
dead?
Possibly. Because the next thing they knew, it was October 15th. They skipped 10 days.
I've done that before. Do you know when you press snooze on your alarm and you wake up 10 days later?
It's happened a few times. Especially during school.
Oh, aye.
However, for anyone who's been paying attention, you may have realised that the math doesn't add up. Because I mentioned that we lose a full day for every 128 years.
Right.
Or we were losing a full day for every 128 years. And from 45 BC to 1582 AD, that was actually 12.71875 days. Not 10 days. So nearly 13 days.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to these other 3 days? And more importantly, what happened to the time concerning those 3 days? The time represented by those 3 days or 2.7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we're talking about there is a discrepancy of 348 years.
It's a long time.
Now that is a long time.
You can't just mess the dates up that much and like...
Expect nobody to know.
Yeah, there's got to be some major like... We're not that smart as humans, like, oh, we're really...
No, but we're also not that thick. Yeah, so while you're getting the drink, tell you what, grab me a can while you're through there as well. There's a type of content you don't usually get on the podcast. Now, even though there was a discrepancy of 348 years or 12.7 days, Pope Gregory's change did actually put the calendar back in sync with the equinox. So you would think if there's a 348 year discrepancy, that would mean Easter's still not going to be falling on March 21st with that 10-day shift. But it did.
Yeah.
So what happened? Well, the conclusion is that somebody else had already adjusted the Julian calendar previously to Pope Gregory forming the Gregorian calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Heribert Illig believes that Pope Gregory created the Gregorian calendar to cover up conspiracy to account for this 348-year discrepancy. And he did some digging to try and see if there was any evidence to back up this claim. And he found it.
Mm-hmm.
He found evidence, he found clues for the period of the Middle Ages. The period of time I mentioned earlier, 614 AD to 911 AD. Because there is a distinct lack of any record or artifacts belonging to this time period. Now, the Phantom Time hypothesis proposes the conspiracy took place to allow Holy Roman Emperor Otto III to rule in the new millennium, in 1000 AD. Illig believed that Otto conspired with Pope Sylvester II and the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII to move themselves from the 7th century to the 10th century. Illig stated the Roman Empire kept detailed records up until 610 AD, the supposed starting of the Dark Ages, and then written history stops for 300 years.
How convenient.
On top
so
of
so what happened in them 300 years?
Well, that's the thing. The evidence that he came up with kind of showed that nothing happened during those 300 years. Because the architecture of 476 AD was identical to the architecture in 1000 AD. That there were no technological advances during this 300 years. There was no new structures built, or next to no new structures built during this 300-year period.
So we're all just sat about for 300 years?
One would think. European castles. There's no traces of of any new ones being built during that time. Plenty of castles before, plenty of castles after, but during that time, no new castles were built. Now, according to Illig, there is a document I should say, that claims 1,700 new structures were built during the 300-year period. But when Illig traced those buildings, 97% of them were just gone, without a trace. No evidence they ever existed. Which led him to believe the document was a forgery. Now, you might think that there would be at least some archaeological evidence of this time period, even down to human remains.
Well, I've got one for you. It kind of ties in with this. Have you ever heard of Tartaria?
No.
It's a civilization that did but didn't exist, and it was a mud flood, and it wiped it out, and it's like all the governments and stuff have just pretended it never existed.
Right.
And all the architecture and stuff, there is the odd picture of it.
Uh-huh.
It's just out of this world. So you have to look at it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Tartaria or something.
I don't, for some reason, it's make me. It sounds like Tartarus, which is something dealing with the Greek underworld. I think Tartarus is the prison that the Titans are kept in. Like Kronos, Zeus's father. So it's like a prison in the underworld. to keep the Titans in. But, as I said, you would think there'd be at least be some human remains. Even if there's no structures, there'd be human remains.
Mm-hmm.
Archaeologists couldn't find any human remains either. And in 1986, archaeologists did really notice that there's very little evidence of medieval towns during the period of 650 AD to 910 AD.
Mm-hmm.
And Germany has no evidence either attributed to this time period. There's nothing. The only thing there seems to be a record of from this time was Charles the Great, also known as Charlemagne. He started off as king of the Franks.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think he got crowned king of somewhere else. That was in 768 AD. And then in 800 AD, he gets made the Roman Emperor.
Right.
The first Roman Emperor since the start of the Dark Ages.
Right.
Because until then there was no emperors anymore. But the Phantom Time hypothesis claims Charlemagne never existed. So, there are claims that Otto III created Charlemagne in his own image, and some scholars have claimed that Charlemagne achieved too much for just one person to achieve in one lifetime.
Yeah.
Dealing with sciences, the new laws, what have you. Especially when you consider that for 44 of the years out of his 46-year reign,
Mm-hmm.
he was at war. So it was only 2 years while he was in power that he wasn't fighting some battle. And yet, while at war for these 44 years, he found the time to do all these new laws, restructure the education system, advances in science and what have you. There's no way one person could do that.
No.
It's
I mean, I could, but...
Yeah, but you're a cat stuck in a human body. But yeah, it would take somebody several lifetimes to accomplish it all. So what was the purpose of Charlemagne? Why would Otto have created Charlemagne? Well, the idea was that it would legitimize Otto III's claim to rule. I think he was supposed to be descended from Charlemagne. And that was why there's this 348-year discrepancy. Because Sylvester, Otto, and Constantine shifted the calendar 300 years, or 348 years, so that they were pushed into the new millennium and just created this character who ruled during this 300-year period that Otto was then descended from to legitimise his own claim to
So
rule.
they've literally made another timeline?
Yeah. And you know what time it is now? It's debunking time. Oh, sorry, did you think I was going somewhere else?
I was like, really?
So, that's the story of the Phantom Time hypothesis. That's the theory behind it. Evidence and what have you to support it. But how accurate is the hypothesis? Well, let's begin with. To begin with, Illig didn't have all of the information that he needed. He didn't do enough research. First of all, this time discrepancy is already noted in history. What happened is that Pope Gregory didn't base the change of dates from the start of the Julian calendar in 45 BC, but from 325 AD.
Mm-hmm.
Why 325 AD? Because the First Council of Nicaea had already made a 3-day adjustment in 325 AD. So that meant Gregory only needed to do 10 days.
Right.
Because an adjustment had already been made. Just not where Herbert was claiming it had been made, or by who he claimed had made the change. And the change was documented. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't a conspiracy. He just didn't look hard enough. All that evidence to show that the Dark Ages did in fact happen, that these 348 years did actually exist, that we are really in the 21st century, is Halley's Comet. Now, Halley's Comet is visible from Earth every 75 to 76 years.
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Yeah. And records for it go back as 475 BC. Now, during the 300-year gap in European records, Halley's Comet was still being recorded in the Chinese records. So the Chinese have got records dealing with the Dark Ages.
Oh.
China wasn't part of the Roman Empire. So when the Roman Empire fell, causing the start of the Dark Ages, China didn't get affected by it, at least not in the way that the rest of us were. And when the Roman Empire fell, society across the world was just thrown into chaos, to the point where only 5% of the population could read or write, because people were too busy trying not to starve.
Yeah.
So there was no time for reading or writing. There was no time for any advancements in technology or architecture, because it was all about survival. I mean, when you see movies like Mad Max, post-apocalyptic worlds, there's not really any time for advancements in anything to try and rebuild society, because people are too busy trying to survive. Yeah. It's a barren wasteland. You need water and you need food. And everyone's turning on each other to survive, and probably like that during the Dark Ages. That was their version of Mad Max. The post-apocalyptic future.
Yeah, but if you are going to rewrite history and stuff, that would be the perfect time where no one could really read or write.
Which is why I was thinking Herbert was thinking. That period, nobody. There's been claims that nobody could read or write, but blah blah blah. No, it was just a case of nobody could read or write, so nothing was getting noted down until society started rebuilding. And I am fascinated by the fact that it took 3.5 centuries for society to get back on track after the fall of the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened to be the likes of Otto III who were bringing society back. Now, did Charlemagne exist? He most likely did. Was his resume exaggerated? It most likely was. He would have had others around him helping him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing it alone. And let's face it, exaggerating his resume to make it look like he was a one-man army, or the messiah of the period.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time the Roman Empire or the Church exaggerated accomplishments or abilities of someone, would it? You know who I'm talking about. Jesus.
Andrew Tate.
Well, and to further cement, it's further evidence that Charlemagne really did exist. If he was fake, if he was part of conspiracy for that time, the deed was done. He served his the character of Charlemagne had served his purpose.
Yeah.
Right now, they are in the process of granting sainthood to Charlemagne. If he was fake and it was all a conspiracy by the church, why would they be trying to grant a sainthood? Why would they be trying to grant a sainthood to somebody who never existed, that they themselves created as
To make us
a
look
fiction.
even more real.
But then that would be blasphemous to the whole point of sainthood.
Well, I think I've crossed the line to start with by changing the fucking timeline.
But that's just that. Well, in what way are you talking about the timeline? That the Phantom Time hypothesis, or just trying to shift days for Easter? I think with the Julian.
Just trying to. Like, all of it's a bit weird. You know, like.
But what I'm trying to say is that the Phantom Time hypothesis is wrong.
Right.
Because it was all based on this 340, this 3-day discrepancy.
Aye.
Based on the 10-day shift Pope Gregory did. Because Herbert hadn't realised that the First Council of Nicaea had already done a 3-day shift to try and bring the calendar back in line with the spring equinox.
Right.
So there was no 300-year discrepancy. It was Herbert Illig not doing enough research.
You're telling me I've sat here for the last 4 hours and it's not even real?
Exactly.
Well, thanks for that, Drew.
You're very welcome. So, what do you think, listeners?
I know what I think. You got to tell this before we started this.
Well, I could have done, but then that would have spoiled the surprise. Do you tell me about what's going to be in Richie's Corner before Richie's Corner happens?
Richie's Corner?
Yeah, Richie's Corner. You know, the bit that once I'm finished talking about whatever topic I'm talking about, you know, you then have your bit where you go, you know, where you get to talk about what you talk about.
Cue the music!
God, you nearly blasted my eardrums off of that cue the music.
Shut up. Okay, so welcome to Richie's Corner. We're now so relaxed. Sexy voices and stuff. Okay, so today we're going to start off with a dad joke. The Scarecrow... No, why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Because he did a stand-up job.
Because he was outstanding in his field. Random facts. Did you know that a house cat can run up to 30 miles an hour over short distances?
I did not.
No, you didn't. Blueprints are called blueprints because photosensitive chemicals used to make copies of the documents turn blue when exposed to light. Did you know that?
No, I thought they were just diagrams printed on blue paper.
Well, you were fucking wrong, weren't you? Today is National Siamese Cat Day.
Ooh. I really don't like Siamese cats.
And they don't let you either.
Do you know why I don't like Siamese cats? Because of Lady and the Tramp. We are Siamese.
You're a bit evil,
Honestly, because those two cats and that, I have never been able to like Siamese cats.
Did you know that there's a bird called the blue boobio?
I didn't know.
Now we do.
Is it related to the blue tit? No, seriously, is it related to the blue
I
tit?
don't know.
Well, you got a bird called a blue tit, and then what was it? A blue boob.
Boobio.
Oh, boobio.
Right. So, we've got an update from Barbara Squat Pump about she's more than a friend of the show now, she's more like the family.
Barbara, isn't that whose marriage a brogo?
That's the one. Hello Richie, an update on my life. I have recently been contacted by a handsome younger man, a fireman with a Diet Coke body. We've only been talking so far, but we're going on a date at the weekend. We got in contact with each other due to us both listening to the show. I will let you know what happens. Love, Barbara. Thanks, Barbara. Let me know and good luck.
Good luck, Barbara.
And this one's from Sean from Newcastle.
Oh.
Hello lads, just found the show. Nice to hear some local lads. Best of luck, love, Sean. Cheers, mate.
Love you too, Sean. Thanks for the love.
Now we've got Tina from Cardiff. Hello Richie, my husband is worrying me. I seen him cycling in our local town, wearing suspenders, high heels and a feather boa. His wig was blown in the wind. Everyone was laughing at him.
I've got a question. Where the hell did he find a bike? There's no one that's just worried.
You've just actually ruined
Oh.
Thanks, Drew. I cannot believe that he didn't tell me he bought a new bike. Thanks, Richy. Oh, this is fitting. P.S. Why is Joe a wanker? I don't know. He just is.
In the words of Lady Gaga, I was born
Shut
this
up.
way.
Shut up or you'll go in the garden. Right, this one's from Christina from London. I think my cat is going to leave me. She has been getting dressed up, going out all night. She's recently got her hair done. Every time I ask her, I get a mouthful of abuse and told to. But yesterday, I found a small suitcase filled with clothes, dreamies, and a travel edition of Scrabble. What should I do? Thanks, Richy. P.S. Can I have a picture of your penis with a small Santa hat?
Well, doesn't your brother already have a picture like that?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what you should do. Not you. Christina from London. Christina Londonera.
Shut up.
This is what you should do. You should find that Scrabble set and pinch all the vowels. Oh, you said she's from. Oh no, she's from London. He was from Cardiff. Tina, never mind. Yeah,
that's the one that you ruined.
Pinch all the vowels. I was going to make a joke there about the Welsh not having any vowels. There is. I was getting them mixed up.
Well, thanks for that, Drew. You've successfully managed to ruin Richie's corner again. Are you got anything you want to read out?
Yes, actually, we have got some emails.
Anyways, I was.
So the first email we have is from a listener called Craig.
Hello, Craig.
Hi, Craig. So, hello, Drew and Chip Boy. I've been putting on a bit of weight recently.
Oh,
haven't we all? Haven't we all been putting on a bit of weight?
Oh.
Don't worry, Craig. We feel you. But we can't feel too much of you because we're that fat ourselves. We can't rock the arms up.
Yeah, we can't hug people anymore.
Yeah, just can't get
we're
close
just like
enough.
blue wheels, which is kind of bouncing into each other.
I know. You got the government telling us to like arm bump each other, but us fatsouls we just belly bump each other.
Yeah, we haven't had that problem for years.
So the wife has suggested I should do lunges to stay in shape. How about you just lunge right out the window, mate? But I think that would be a big step forward. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, fuck's sake, man. Oh.
The wife also thinks I'm thick. Well, if you've been putting weight on, yeah. A bit thick around the belly. She thinks I'm a bit thick since I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. Anyways, about the show personally, I think what would make it better if we just had 1 week about Richy speaking about his penis, but then again, it won't be very long.
No.
I just want to say, Drew, don't worry if your tits smell like dog food. Mine smell like a wet jockstrap. Look, Craig, Richie's wrong. My tits don't smell like dog food. They smell like something worse. I'm just also wondering if you can start doing competitions for your listeners. I've only won once in a competition. It was to milk a cow blindfolded. Thanks, Uncle Jimmy. Anyways, keep up the work. Yous are terrible. Oh, aye, Richy, remember that time?
Oh, that time, aye.
Uncle Jimmy,
That was great. That was great.
Yeah, so we've got an Uncle Jimmy in the mix now as well, have we?
Thank you, sir.
So, Craig, his wife, and his Uncle Jimmy. Yes. I've got a question for you, Craig. Has Jimmy been asking you to milk the cow blindfolded again since? Well then, the next email is from you pleb. Hello, you delightful pussies. Love you, Richy. Oh dear. Looks like I'm in trouble. I find that highly unprofessional that you told whoever this Ben character is to go himself. Drew, if you had even half a brain cell, you would know that isn't even possible. You know what, you pleb? You're absolutely right, because I only have a quarter of a brain cell. P.S. Bob Lazar doesn't waffle nearly as much as you. P.S.S. Sorry, you pleb, that should have been P.P.S. Hey Barbara, how are you doing? Oh, I wonder if you pleb's a fireman. Oh
my god, this is
this is getting interesting.
We've got a love affair right here in the studio.
Right in Richie's corner. And P.S.S.S. Oh, well, whatever. Dave, your wife's is the coast, and that is never clear of crabs. Sincerely, your number one fan, 88. Well,
it's a strange name.
Let's see. Why did I say that to Ben? Let's go back to Ben's email. Oh yeah, Ben was saying that I talk too much and I sound like a bag of cats being hit repeatedly off the wall.
Yeah, you do.
Well,
anyways, this is Richie's corner. Shut the up.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know the thing is, though, is that with Richie's corner, in fact, just the show in general, whenever you open your mouth,
you talk.
Other than that, it seems to be hating on me. So if I want to tell someone to go make love to themselves, I'm going to do it. Whether it's physically possible or not. No, I tell you what, it is possible. If I could find a genie. You've seen the Wishmaster movies, haven't you?
Shut up, Joe. Is there any more emails?
Well, there was another one from you, pleb. That was just a link to a song for me to listen to.
Oh, right.
Because the chorus specifically was about me. It could be a bit of a canter if I wasn't so much of a wanker.
Right.
Most of the time.
So we are going to have a competition. So I'm going to say a sentence. You guys have to finish it in an email or a letter. And the funniest line wins a year's supply of dog food. I don't care if you don't have a dog. So, I was walking down the street and my pants fell down. I bent over to pick them up, and then suddenly, then you guys finish the rest. The funniest will win.
Send your answers in to curious.podcasts@gmail.com, and I will be having no say whatsoever in who is the winner.
Absolutely not. Right, I think that's it for Richie's corner. Just make sure. Yep. Back to the podcast.
So that was the travesty that is Richie's corner. And we've had our main topic this week, so I think that was quite an entertaining Richie's corner.
It was.
It was. My ear's still hurting a bit though from you yelling.
That wasn't me. So we're gonna have word of the week, but this week we've got its own little jingle.
It has.
Word of the week.
We should have some music accompanying it at some point.
But I'm sorry I haven't got a built-in guitar to my ass.
Could have fooled me. Okay, so word of the week. Let's see. So my word of the week is knucklehead.
How fitting.
I know, because we're a couple of knuckleheads. Complete idiots. What's yours?
Kebab.
Don't tell me.
I won't.
You can eat it, can't you?
Yes, you can.
What is it with you and always having food for your word of the week?
I don't know. I'm just hungry every week because no one feeds us when I come here.
You cheeky sod, I offered you my leftover fish and chips.
Yeah, but...
I mean, okay, I'm sorry.
It's still in your beard when you offer it, is it?
Look, I'm sorry that there was no smoky sausage left over to offer you with it as well, but I just love that stuff too much. And the smoky sausages usually get eaten first.
Perfect.
Not just because I like sausages.
Mm-hmm.
That's your mind that went there. Right, got anything else?
Don't think so.
Well then, seems a bit of an anticlimactic end in a way,
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, I'm sorry if I've somewhat let you down.
But you always let me down.
Well, you know what it is? Why didn't you do the podcast with someone else?
You know what? I think I might as well, because at this rate, all you're doing. Podcasts.